Hi folks, welcome back to Stacey Can. Today I am making blueberry jam. Blueberries are in and there's a lot of things you can do with them. I have made blueberry basil vinegar, which is fantastic, as well as blueberries in a light syrup. Both of those are in a previous video, so scroll down and you'll find them. The blueberries in syrup are amazing, by the way. They're great on yogurts and such. Anyway, but we're doing blueberry jam today. So the ingredients you need are 10 cups of blueberries, which is about 6.5 cups of mashed or chopped up berries, and then 4.5 cups of sugar. That's it. Some recipes call for lemon juice. This one doesn't. I'm using the, oh, and then you also need pectin. You need some pectin. I am using the Sure-Jell Pectin and the recipe off of the pectin, or the box of pectin here. And the, which I do love a lot. So I really like this pectin. It just works well for me, and I like the recipes on it. So when you open the box, this is what comes in it. It's a very long sheet. It's got a variety of jelly recipes, jam recipes, and then also some of your freezer jammed recipes on here too. So these are fantastic tested recipes. A few of the things that you're gonna need, tools and such that you'll need. One is when you get out the pectin, it's going to ask you to, I'm just cutting off the top here, but you cut off the package because this little package comes inside the box. Dump out your pectin, it's already measured out, and then they want, and then it's a good idea to take, so this is 4.5 cups of sugar, so you want to take 1/4 of a cup of the pre-measured sugar and just dump it into the bowl of pectin that I just combined, and then we're going to stir it up like so. The reason why you want to do this is when you dump your pectin into your pot of berries, it's not going to clump up. So adding that little bit, 1/4 of a cup from the pre-measured sugar. Don't measure out your sugar and then add an additional 1/4 of a cup. You want to measure out your sugar first and then scoop out 1/4 of a cup from it. So and to stir it up. The other ingredients, and I always just use a fork. I think it's easier. It does a great job of unclumping and stirring it all up. The other ingredients you're gonna need is, you'll need a colander. I love this. This is my berry colander. It works fantastic. I like the flat surface. You see how flat it is? It just cleans the berries better, in my opinion. You're gonna need your funnel here. I have a potato masher. You might need that. And your lid lifter, which sticks to anything as it's got a magnet on it. It's going to stick to anything metal. You will need your jar lifter, lid lifter, your Headspace tool, and a ladle of some sort, plus big spoons. You need your pot, a container for your lids. We will be heating the lids. We're not bubbling today. I don't bubble with jam. It just sets up too quickly. So. And then also I've got my jars heating up in the canner at the moment, and your lids and rings. So those are the ingredients that you need. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're gonna do is I'm dumping out all the berries, and I'm going to rinse them as well as possible. And you might wanna look through the berries just to make sure they don't have any of the stems on them too. Done with the blueberries, rinsing them. Go ahead and put them in a bowl here, and then you want to use a potato masher or something to kind of start to smoosh them up a little bit, or you can chop them up, whatever works better for you. Okay, first thing we're doing is I've got the 6.5 cups of mush berries, and I'm adding in the pectin sugar combo, and we're going to go ahead and turn up the heat to high. We're going to get this to a rolling boil, one that you can't stir away, and then we'll add the rest of the sugar. I got a full rolling boil that you can't stir away. There's also some foam in here. You could add 1/2 teaspoon of butter if you want to help reduce the foam. I don't particularly care, so you do you on that. So we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the sugar, the pre-measured sugar. Got all the sugar in the pot here, and I'm got the heat up on high, and we're stirring constantly. We're going to get this to a rolling boil, one that you can't stir away, and we'll set the timer for 1 minute. Got a rolling boil that you can't stir away, and I set the timer for 1 minute. I've got the jars that are heating up in the canner here. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this to a 1/4 inch headspace. This is also a good time if you wanted to do a pectin test to see if it's as thick as you want, or you could do that here. I'm choosing not to today. It's up to you. The pectin test is just a cold spoon and to check the gel thickness. So again, that's up to you entirely. I've got so we've got a 1/4 inch headspace here. I've got my paper towel. I'm using this end because it's first part's kind of grody. And cleaning the rim here very well. Grabbing our lid and a ring, and we're fingertip tight. Be careful, this is hot, so careful with the jar. And then up and over, straight up and over. Don't tilt the jar, just up and over and into the canner and repeat. Got all the jars in the canner here, and I've turned the heat up to high on the canner here, or you can turn the heat up high on your stove. And when it comes to a rolling boil, we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. I have a rolling boil, so I've set the timer for 10 minutes. Timer has gone off for the canner, so I've turned the heat off. And we're gonna remove the lid, and I'm setting the timer for 5 minutes. This process of leaving the jars in the canner for an additional 5 minutes with the lid off helps with the sealing process of the lids. The timer went off, the 5-minute timer went off, and I went ahead and removed the jars here. You just remember when you remove them that you just go up and over, but I did want to show you this. Look at how gorgeous that color is. It's very purpley. You can't really see it as well on here. It's so dark, but very purpley and beautiful. So just remember when you lift them up and out, and we've had a couple of them seal, up and out. Don't worry about tipping it over and having the water run off the top of the lid. It'll evaporate on its own. If you tip the jar when it's freshly out of a canner like that, the food items can get between the lid and the rim, and then that can compromise the seal. So you just want to make sure you don't do that. It made almost 4 pints, almost 4. But the last jar, I went ahead and just put in here. It didn't quite get up to a 1/4 inch. It got up to about a half an inch to an inch. So I'm just gonna stick this in the refrigerator, and we'll just eat it as we go, as it's setting up. So this just gives you an idea of how many pints, half pints it makes. So that is how we make some blueberry jam. And so it was a great joy canning with you today. The recipe is below, as well as please like and subscribe my page. That does help. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, concerns, by all means, please reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Stacey Can Can. You can @ me on Instagram and TikTok at Stacey Can Can. My website is www.staceycancan.com, and my email is info@staceycancan.com. Thanks so much again for joining me today, and until next time, happy canning.